Hey, it's Bridget. So I'm going to do my thing in the morning, and today, just to show you kind of what I do, let's see what we got here. Oh, my balsam fir. You guys know how much I love trees. It's still burning just a little bit. It is kind of like a piece of incense. Ooh, there we go. All I use is a little coffee cup. Just gonna burn it a little bit. It's a nice pine scent, which I love. You know I love my pine trees, right? Like cedars and evergreens. And I just got a blue spruce the other day. Here's the one I use, by the way. And they come in just little sticks. I break them in half, and then I can stand it up in here and burn it. Start the morning. I change it up a bit. Sometimes I'll use incense. I have incense here that I may use from time to time. There we go. All right, so this is kind of my altar space. This just stays here. This is in the corner of the kitchen. I do a lot of work in the kitchen at my table behind me, and so there we go. And so this morning I have a very big day. It's a life change day for me. My son is graduating from high school. He's my second, so I have 2 of 4. So half of my kids will be graduated. Oh, that's a big deal. Got my journal out, ready to journal. I've listened to 2 audios this morning, positive inputs, I call them. The first one was Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks. If you're not familiar, you should check out on Fairy Grasshopper. I have an Abraham Hicks playlist. So listen to that. Positive vibes, Abraham Hicks. Esther's a great channel. And then right after that, there was a video with Eckhart Tolle. And the video was actually talking about, it was filmed during the time of the pandemic when we were in the stay-at-home time early on, so early in 2020. And so I listened to a bit of that because it really talked about adversity and being in a place of inner peace and connected with self during that time. And although I don't feel like a lot of conflict or friction right now, I felt like that was a good thing to hear because it's just very early in the morning. So the graduation isn't until tonight. So then what I usually do is I have been using my OMs, which are what these are. OMs, it's a Celtic tree wisdom method of divination. So it's like using a card deck, but it's trees. I love these, love them. So I pulled 2 today. I have a small version, a small batch, which is little ones like this that I can carry with me. And I also have big ones like this, which I can also use. I have big, tall ones too. And there's about 20 of those. And then the book then I purchased a separate card deck that has a guidebook. This card deck that has the guidebook. I don't use the cards, I just use the book. The book is awesome. It's the Celtic Tree Oracle. I always tag this. I list this in my videos in the resources section in the descriptions of all my videos. So this is in my videos if you're interested in the tree stuff. But the OMs then, the Celtic Tree Wisdom, you match them up here and it tells you what type of tree it is, and it gives you a brief description right out of the gate here about what the potential beginning meaning is. And then of course you flip to the guidebook, which I've used a lot. It's fascinating because I usually don't use guidebooks for card decks, but with this one I have to because this is a completely different vibration, and I can't just walk out to the tree because I don't have all these trees. They're not native to the US where I live. They're not native here, so I can't just walk out and talk to them. So I have to hold them and get information and at the same time kind of channel. So I go in and I find whatever the core words or phrases are, because you know I use power words, or words are very powerful. They have vibration, and I talk about this all the time in private session and in my groups, my Divine Woman group, my Intuitive Woman groups, and when I'm teaching. And words have so much power, the brain just loves them. and the soul can utilize that as like a key or a portal ability to shift and such. So I'll grab a word that stands out, a couple, I'll write them in my journal, and then I'll kind of go from there. So I'm going to share this ritual that I have with you today. And at the very least, I always listen to something positive in the morning. I may do a meditation. I probably should do a meditation today to keep my energy calm. For sure. I'm going to need to do that. And then I always journal. I always journal, and my trees are like my go-to. But here on my altar space, I've had my 13 moon deck. This again is linked below. This is a very powerful divine feminine deck. And when I'm doing my self-work and I'm doing some massive shifts or clearing or healing, I will use these cards. I usually only draw one card because it's that powerful, that intensive energy, very strong energy. When you really need some clearing, this is a good deck for you. Or if you've been doing intuitive work and using cards for quite some time, or tarot decks, you will like this deck. If you haven't, this deck might seem really intense or even almost borderline like, wow, that's too much for me, almost scary. It's not scary, but it's really powerful, so it can feel like, whoa, that's too much for me. So the first card I got right away was the Queen of Death. And this card is perfect for today because death and rebirth is a natural life cycle, and that's where I'm at right now. This is the release for my son of his high school years, and it's been a long time, right? It's 18 years. It's a huge, long time of helping to guide him and help him through. He's had a great deal of challenges early on in his life, and he's overcome them and moved through them and really had to learn some skills that other people have that are just natural to us, and really has had to work hard at things. And he is graduating with an awesome GPA. I'm like, wow. Well, if that matters to you, honey, that's great. Like, to me, I'm like, yeah, not really my thing necessarily, but it's his thing. Like, it feels good to him. He's worked really hard as a student, and he's good at being a student. And that's actually got him his scholarships to go to college. So good for him. I mean, that's awesome, right? I'm proud of that for him. Proud of his accomplishments, whatever's important to him. See, not for me, but for him. But this is about me. This is the master clearer for me. This is the part of Bridget, me, that clears. And I'm clearing the cords. I'm releasing today. And I started earlier this week doing some deeper meditations that I do activations for clearing. And I have a clearing session with my dear, clear healer, divine feminine friend who she's going to be doing a nice clearing session for me early next week. So that should help with the natural process of what's happening. So this is about death and rebirth, authenticity, completion, shedding, letting go, conscious surrender. So I'm doing that. I don't feel overtly emotional right now. I'm sure I will throughout the day, but I have been crying off and on the last month or so because the emotions are at the surface. You know, when I was making his announcements and going through the graduation picture or the senior pictures, that's like one of those things. I was like, oh, you know. So this is very appropriate. I release and I trust. That's what that says. It says, I trust. This is the hardest thing, isn't it? So I'm releasing, and now the next step is trusting. So this is the part that's harder. The releasement is actually, even though I think we feel like, well, it's resistance, so releasing resistance is really hard. Well, guess what, you guys? The trusting part, I hear that from you over and over and over again. The trust part, that's the hard part. That's because we need other people in order to do the trusting part. We need to enter into a relationship in order to have this trust part, realized. So that's the harder part. And I'm working on that too, actually. So with one of my coaches. So, lots of, there we go. We're going to move you just a wee bit here so that you don't smoke me out. Usually it's here and I'm like working way over on the side. So, all right. So the next one that I got was transmit. So this is the chalice. It's a sacred tool. And interestingly, remember I told you that I was doing deeper clearing meditations for release? I already started doing that this week. One of them brings in this chalice as this, not just the sacred container, but as this representation within the body to help and support that which we wish to receive, and then the rest that doesn't fit in here in this cup is released or allowed to go wherever else it might be needed. And so it's like you can't do everything, you can't hold everything. This is your cup, like what is going to be in your cup kind of vibration is how this feels today. It's very purple, very much connected to that crown chakra. The pattern back here almost feels a little bit leopard-like or cat-like, so that's again a divine feminine energy. And it's interesting, it says, so contain, that makes sense, sacred container, but it says center, which also makes sense because to me this is like throat, heart, soul, and it goes down into what would be going into the sacral chakra, and then beyond, like this is almost the sacral chakra, and then below that is the root chakra. If this was in my body, that's how I would picture it, because the throat's here, the throat, and the speaking your truth, the voice coming in, that water element of that throat chakra, into that heart chakra, which is also water element for me. I mean, well, throat is kind of air too, but they're both. And coming in here, and then embodying it through this channel of our spirit, our solar plexus, and then here this nice solid base, which is the sacral chakra, which is drive, dreams, desire, passion, purpose, womb space, woman, motherhood. This is perfect. And so this tells me, I'm getting some message for myself. I'm going to share it with you. This is an affirmation of the grounding of that part of my life, that womb space, that motherhood space, that very real space, and that this is just that I have built that through the time that my children have been growing, in my house, not just in my body, but in my physical house and my environment that I've provided, and that I have provided this very solid foundation. That makes me feel emotional. That's awesome. Doesn't that feel good to you? Are you a mother too? Yeah, it feels really good, doesn't it? Yeah. Tears to my eyes. Flow, simplify, empty. Flow, simplify, empty. Let's simplify, shall we? I'm going to adjust my camera just a bit. Hang on, you guys. There we go. You okay there? Everybody okay? All right. I need to grab my cup here. I'm not on camera this morning. I wanted to kind of highlight these, but I wanted to have my GD Cheetah mug. If you saw my GD Cheetah mention in one of my vlogs this week, or it might have been last week, it was it's the one about the books, I think. Oh, maybe. Was it the book one? No, it was after that. I'm not sure which one, but there we go. One of my vlogs. So, yep, I'm gonna go walking in a little bit. It's really, really hot, so I have my walking shorts on. I don't even know. You might be able to see my little shorts here, but whatever. It's okay. my crappy. I'm gonna go walking in sweaty shorts. Okay. All right. So, all right. Hey, I'm human. Then I got this priestess card. This was the last card. This is so perfect, you guys. This picture is such a powerful triad of support, and I appreciate it, and I'm so glad to be able to share it with you. It says, I amplify in stillness, and so that's when I'm going to spend time most of the day today. My son, my oldest boys are actually at their dad's today, and so I don't have the intense connection to him in person, so I'm going to use that to my advantage today and do walking and spend some time outside. It's going to get real hot. It's going to be 90 degrees today. Unusual for June, but I like it, so it'll be fine for me. But this blue color is actually his favorite color. When the kids were growing up, I had, some of you might do this too, but I had cups or bowls or plates that were color coded. So 4 different colors, 4 different kids. So Josh's, my oldest, his was blue because that's his color, and he has beautiful blue eyes. Oh my gosh, if you look at my Instagram, I think I posted on my Instagram a picture of him. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. I know I posted it on Facebook on Bridget Inspired, a cute little picture of him as a little boy. And oh my gosh, the colors are not adjusted. They're really that blue. His eyes are beautiful. And it's hard to believe too, because I mean, he just has gorgeous eyes. And this spiral is within. And this is the priestess energy, which is the most like the teacher energy, the powerful embodiment of divine feminine energy. I mean, this is just gorgeous. And the background here with the trees, the evergreens, like we talked about, right? We've got the evergreens going here. We've got that vibe of the evergreens. We're going to talk about the trees in a minute here, but this gorgeous background, the water, the flowing, that again connects with this transmute energy, really honors the flow of change and shift that's happening during a releasement process. The water also is connected to deeply, deeply connected for me personally to the heart chakra, and also can be to the throat chakra. So communication and connection to the throat and the heart. And it does say flow here, good, just like the other one. And it says silence, stillness. So the walk will help that for me, right? It'll be nice and reflective. Balance, signs. We've got crossroads, which is change, which is exactly what's happening, right? Endings and beginnings, which is totally related here, right? Intuition, key, and mirror. Yeah, beautiful. So lots of different levels these cards will represent and interpretations, but for me, I'm pulling out what makes sense to me, and especially the trees today, that does speak to me very, very much, and the water of the flow does, and this, the embodiment of the priestessing energy, that definitely speaks to me today. The blue is also connected to that third eye, which I am a clairvoyant, as you know, and so to me that matters. That's really powerful for me. And so for you, one of these other things might be keying in like intuition or mirror or signs. All right. So, and I have my ring here. This is the Sri Yantra. Sometimes I'll grab this and I'll pop it on if I'm doing a session or if I'm feeling like I want to have a little bit of a balance, because right is my dominant hand. And so when I'm writing, I like to have, because there's so much energy and power flowing through my arm here, my right hand and arm, that if I put this on, or I have another ring that I'll use too as well, that is a sacred geometry, the flower of life. And I'll pop it on and it just kind of feels balanced, or I'll put a ring on my hand, or on this hand, sometimes you'll see a ring. It's most commonly I'll wear my amethyst ring. It's just very simple. It's not very dainty. It's much more of a grounded kind of almost masculine-like ring. And I put that on this side to kind of just keep things grounded here, because I can just be like, so I keep things grounded here with that. So that's why this is here. All right. I just thought that was a good fit for this. All right. So now let's look up the Celtic tree oracle wisdom. All right. Let's look up the meaning of these two that I got. And this is what I will journal on. That's how it works. So for me, with my magical stick, I shared this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. I was cleaning out the flower beds. It's been my ongoing project because I appreciate the digging in the dirt right now and being busy with earth energy, and this is a way that I've been doing it. I don't usually do it. It's just a thing this year. It's not normal for me. But I chopped this off from one of the big vines that was growing, and I kept it because it's just so beautiful. I just love it. Put it on my altar. So we are going to read this. Let's see, is this burnt out? Oh, we are done with this. Nice. Good job, you guys. All right, let's see here. Get a new page of my journal ready. Let's see. So we are sometimes I'll look at my dates when I do the dates, and I will actually do the so you guys are going to learn how this works. I actually do the numerology, so I'll go 6 plus 4 is 10, which equals to 1, because 1 plus 0 is 1. Then I'll add the 2, which is 3. Then the 0 is obviously 3 still, so plus 2 is 5, and then plus 1 equals 6. So 6 is the sacred geometry. To me, 6 is a cool sacred geometry because it's 3 and 3. Which is kind of like an as above, so below. It's like a mirror reflection energy. To me, it means I got support here on earth, and I got support in the ethers. That's what it means to me. And this is about balance to me. The 6 is about balance, equally divided, right? Half and half, both sides. Nice. Okay. So I'm gonna just jot this one down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, this one's got a lot on it. 5. I don't know if I can stand this one up. Nope, I can't. All right, so let's do this. It does feel like it's actually connected to that particular one. And this one actually either is connected to one of these two. I'd like to put it here, but it might actually be connected here. Right, so this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. So I'm going to put it in between because I don't know which one it's connected to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this one is 5, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to look up which one these are. I don't know off the top of my head. These aren't ones that I always, like I get, you know how when you're working with cards and stuff and you get the same ones over and over again? I haven't got, these ones aren't the same ones, I don't think. Doesn't feel familiar. I've been working with this for, gosh, 8 months now. All right, so this little guy, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Oh, are you kidding me right now? Oh, are you kidding me right now? Okay. Oof. All right. So this is the ash. This one is the ash. Again, I don't get the ash very often. I almost thought I got the willow for a second there. The ash is the world tree. It's inner and outer. So we'll learn more about that. The inner and outer. If it's the world tree, it's probably the as above, so below energy. So the first one is the ash, which I just mentioned. Didn't I mention the as above, so below with the 6 and the date? Yeah. See the alignment? It all works. All right, so this one is, let's see. We have got, some of you might work with the OM. The sticks are called staves, by the way. I call them sticks. They don't care what I call them. They're okay with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Hazel. Yeah, I work with Hazel a bit. I do get Hazel a bit. I haven't got her for a while. This is Hazel. Hello, Hazel. Ash feels more masculine to me, and Hazel feels much more feminine. Hazel feels much more like a team player. Hey, let me help you out. And initially, the Hazel is connected to intuition and wisdom. So let's get some deeper information from the ash tree, because I feel like that one's probably the one that wants to talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about your vibes, man. And the reason why I say that is because the ash, that energy, feels like it's going to tell me something that relates to resistance for me, or it's going to key in on something I can let go of or heal, and I maybe don't want to necessarily. So it might be the perfect thing for me to journal on, for sure. If ever you're kind of pushed away from something, it's not necessarily because it's bad for you. It might be because it's connecting into a resistance. It's just like a trigger that we have, you know, how that goes with triggers and such. I'm looking for this in the book and I cannot find it. Hello, ash tree, where are you? Oh, there you are. See, ash, here we go. So I'm gonna glean some key information here. Trees also follow the Celtic New Year, or the calendar year, which I follow. I love that energy vibe. That's part of my ancestry. Anybody who's interested in ancestors, spiritual ancestry, by the way, not my human body physical lineage. All right, so the dates on the calendar are February 21st through March 20th. Key time, I actually have 2 kids' birthdays during that time. My daughter and my son that will graduate next year. Oh my goodness, I know. Wow, I got a lot going on here. So the totems that are connected with the ash tree are the world tree, the dolphins. Oh, I love the dolphins. That's about clearing, my friends, by the way. For me, dolphin magic is clearing. Dolphin medicine is clearing. It's also about family and socialization, which I'm going to a social event that I have not been to any kind of social event at all yet in the last year and a half. Yeah, so it's going to be huge crowds and sitting on bleachers in the football stadium with probably 1,000 people, and I'm like not sure how I'm feeling about that, so I'm just gonna try to do my best. Let's see. I did travel though during this time, and I did go to the theme parks at Disney World, but it wasn't that busy at all. So let's see. All right, so we've also got some deities or goddess guides aspects. Oh, Odin. Odin is one of my faves. Odin is third eye. Work with Odin a lot. Okay, let's see, Oracle of Delphi, which I am connected to myself. All right, so some key words: the microcosm and the macrocosm, reflections, mirrors, uniting the inner and outer worlds, as above, so below. See, I told you, as above, so below. That's kind of this vibration here too. With the priestessing energy is that reflection, the mirrors. All right. So here's some of the information that we can glean from this particular, and I'm going to read some of this because I know that I'm not like super open and welcoming about this as above, so below, reflect. Please reflect to me. Please show me where I need clearing. Please show me my resistance. Please poke at me when I'm already feeling vulnerable. Let's grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. All right. So when you get asked in a reading, expect to connect with your outer or with your own inner tree. Oh, I like that. Which represents your center and connects you with your inner world and the outer world. Here you will experience the meaning of the axiom, as above, so below. This is a place of great guidance. It links you to the universal knowledge and can help you understand yourself, your thoughts, feelings, and actions. All right. Okay, so that's one little excerpt. Here's another one. Oh, this is interesting. The ash is less about doing and more about being. So I'm going to be being most of the day, and then I'm going to be doing later this afternoon. It's also about noticing. So pay attention to what is showing up in your life. Your outer world reflects your inner world. If you see things that you're not happy with, then begin to make changes. Change within will reflect in the outer world. Changes without will reflect in the inner world. You are also encouraged to participate in ritual and ceremony. So consider seeking spiritual community. If you're immersed in grief, reach out to your communities for help so you don't drown in your own sorrows. Know this will pass too. On the other hand, if you are involved in a project, you may have to put in long hours in seclusion to complete your work. You might need to block out the outer world for some time. If so, you may feel a bit lonely, but it is worth it to bring your work to fruition. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm working on some businessy stuff too, so I'm like, oh my, that's interesting. That's interesting. But I feel like this is much more, for me personally, it's a nod to the clearing process and to letting myself be aware of my stuff. Not worry or redirect about my kid, but for me, to kind of come to peace with things, right? With the change. That's what it feels like to me. You may have keyed in on one of the other things that I shared, and that's the point of these videos. I share with you my personal stuff, the stuff that I'm working with here in this particular expression, and then you take a message for yourself from it as well. That's the point. That's how it works, okay? So this definitely does fit with the transmute energy because that's what this is about. This is really about that kind of energy, that connection. That inner tree is like the chalice, is like the inner tree, very similar. Okay, so let's find out about Hazel. You guys, I love Hazel. She's awesome. You will like her too. She is such a sweetheart. Like I said, she's a real team player. Her energy is super team player. Here she is, okay. And so information about her dates are June 13th through July 10th. So we're coming into Hazel time, and Hazel then must be during the solstice. Oh yes, I love that. That's good vibes, Hazel. Actually, I just remembered. When I was doing some business work, I got Hazel as one of my supporters for the business energies. So that's interesting. I'm getting her now. Maybe that's the next stage for me to focus on. So let's see. Her totem animals are hare, scarab, a tortoise, a turtle, a crab, and a salmon. Well, I have a sea turtle. Her name is Margaret. You may have heard me talk about her before. She is one of my totems. She connects me to earth energy. She was the first totem I ever worked with. She was the first spirit guide I ever had, and that I was aware of, actual guide. And she's awesome. Margaret. Love my Margaret. She also helps me connect with the ocean, earth energy and the water energy. So she kind of combines those two energies for me, which is just perfect. It's a lovely balance. So the deities, guides, or goddesses are Gaia, which is earth, and the Great Mother, which is earth. That's what this card deck, this 13 moon card deck refers to the earth as Great Mother. And other goddesses like Sophia, Isis, and the, let's see, Fenton and the White Ancient One. I don't know who that is. Off the top of my head, I have no idea. All right, so keywords: water, the moon. Ooh, the moon. So cycles. To me, right away, it's cycles. Flow, cycles. Flow with the cycles. Rhythms. Flow with the rhythms and cycles. Bounty and abundance. Yeah. Abundance means a lot of opportunity. Sometimes abundance can be overwhelming, but I don't feel, in this case, I feel like, hey, there's opportunities now. Intuition, wisdom, insight, knowledge, sage, advice, divination, poetry, creative pursuits, higher perspective, and clarity. See, this is a great one. She's totally a team player. I'm telling you, she's a great life coach energy vibe. So when you receive Hazel in a clearing, your feminine nature, the changing of the moon, and the lunar principles of receptivity and mystery are all relevant right now. Your female lineages have something to say to you. Do you know your spiritual heritages? Now, spiritual heritages are different. They may be very different than your human lineages, and some people have a hard time with this, especially with a lot of the cultural sensitivity and heightened awareness about being respectful in the multiple diversities of culture and how people identify and where they align. And so that's very sensitive. I'm going to be being aware of that is really important. But for many spiritual lineages, they cross that, and so they cross those human, mental, physical, this lifetime boundaries. So you may very much identify with the African culture and be a very stark white person. Let's just say that, okay, in a spiritual context. All right, so take some quiet time to tune in, to listen to the nurturing messages. Take your intuition seriously. Find time to sit by a body of water near your home. Actually, I was just thinking about walking by the lake or the ocean, a river, or a stream. This tree suggests appreciation. Appreciate cycles. What cycle are you in right now? Ooh, that sounds like a good journal prompt, you guys. What cycle are you in right now? That would be great to journal on. Although I personally am going to have to journal with the ash tree energy, because I know that there's something to be uncovered there. But you, and then this might be another level of my connection, what cycle are you in right now? This tree suggests acceptance of where you're at right now, as it is impossible to push the river. It is time to give gratitude for all that you have and to honor the earth. Notice the abundance that is around you. This is a time for family time and family reunions. Wow. Interesting. This is a time to give gratitude for all the mothers in your life. Oh my gosh, that's me. I'm a mother. If you require nurturing, cultivate friendships that can support you. I'm so blessed to have a few of those. Oh my God, they're golden, you guys. They're golden. Nurture others, mother each other with compassion. Maybe time to heal mother wounds. If you have that, perhaps it is time for forgiveness. If you are a mother, make sure you are representing the best qualities of this role. If not, move toward changing your behavior. Be the best kind of mother that you can be, that you would like to have for yourself. That's me. I have really been working on that for myself, because as a mother, I know that I've been intense with my kids. I have been in their business, reminding them of things so they don't forget stuff. And that would be considered nagging and being annoying. And so I'm trying to change my patterns in regards to that. And I'm just affirming to them in text messages and for real. If you need help with something, ask me in advance. If you ask me at the last minute, I might say you're out of luck, do it on your own. But if you give me some notice, if you can, then I can help you. I can help you problem solve your situations, but I'm not going to do things for you. And I am going to let you live your own lives. And I keep telling them that I'm letting you live your own lives. I'm letting you have space. I'm letting you do your stuff. Take care of your business. I'm staying out of your business. But if you need me, ask, and then I'll respond, I'm working on that. It's like boundaries, healthy boundaries, right? Mama boundaries, right? All right. So I'm going to make a, what cycle am I in right now? Okay, and then clearly that mom thing, that was huge, right? So no wonder like it's right here between these two, how I was saying that I felt Hazel between the Queen of Death card and the Priestess card. No wonder it's between the two. This is the flowing energy and how I said I like the ocean and the evergreens, and it talked about being by the bodies of water to help with the flow. And then this is the clearing and the release that's happening and the changes, like changing my patterns in my motherhood, my motherliness. This is something I've been talking to my feelings coach about. Yes, I have a feelings coach. I'm becoming a feelings coach in my work. I coined the term, actually. My coach, she kind of laughed at me. She's like, I'm sorry, what did you call me? And I said, you're my feelings coach. And she's like, what? I said, it's my feelings coach helping me work through my feelings. Like, that's what that's what I consider for you. That's the work I bring to you. I said, I decided that because that's what the client does. That's what I do. I take charge and power of my session. So when I work with her, it's about my feelings. And I told her that. I said, that's my intention, to work with you. She thinks it's awesome, and she's an amazing mom, so she's perfect to help me with this. And by amazing mom, I say, honey, she's been through it. The whole like trauma with her kids and divorce with her kids, and she's a single mom, and she works in therapy, and I mean, she's just amazing. She's written an incredible book. She's a writer. And I mean, she's writing her next novel now, or next book now. And I mean, she's just awesome. And how I met her is a really great story. I'll have to do that on a vlog. So how women and people come into your life exactly when you need them. Or actually, I came into her life when she needed me. And then years later now, I met her, I think in 2013 or 14. And I was on a trip and we met each other. And now, like, gosh, 7 years later, I hire her as my coach. Isn't that crazy? Like at that time, I wasn't looking for that. And so, I mean, wow, cool how that works out. And so the ash tree, the as above, so below, inner, outer. That's really, to me, it's going to be working more on my empath stuff and working with my emotions and my feelings. That's how it feels to me. So I'm going to work with that today a little bit. Maybe I'll take my journal with me down to the water. So this is an example of what I would do for myself in the morning. And so you guys have seen most of it now. I'm going to do some journaling, but I think I'm going to go for a walk first before it gets too hot and maybe sit by the water and do the journaling, because this is how we connect, right? And I have symbols. Like you could just as easily pull out some rocks or crystals and add them in to your, actually, you know what, I'm going to put this in my chalice. Nice rose quartz Merkaba. Spiritual energy, sacred geometry. The sacred geometry I invited in. Divine feminine I invited in. The colors, the elements are here, obviously, and the trees, obviously. And then these, obviously, I almost called these my totems, my tree wisdom, my staves. All right, nice balance of energy. All right, so this is Bridget. You have been watching my Fairy Grasshopper channel. Thanks for spending the morning with me. I got to refresh my coffee cup, and I hope you've learned something. Again, the resources will be shared below. They always are in the description. Just scroll through the description. I usually put a little star next to the ones that I use when I'm using them in a session with you or in a video with you, but these are the two decks that I had. And you don't have to have actual staves like this. You don't have to get an OM, but if you love tree wisdom, you might just want to get this card deck, these cards, and just start with that. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. It's a small deck. There's only like 20 or 25 of them in here. So, but it can be more of a complicated system. But if you're an earthy person and you love trees, oh my gosh, and you don't know why you love trees so much, I do. I've always loved weeping willows. I've always loved birch trees. Turns out willow is my birth tree. I think willow is my birth tree. And the rowan tree is my sweet rowan tree is my lead guide. Here's my rowan. I don't even put it in here anymore because it was coming out all the time. Like it was always like boom, boom, boom coming out. And every time that I would draw this, so I'm like, I'm just going to keep you as my lead guide, kind of like an Archangel Michael. So Rowan is my best friend for tree energy vibes in the spirit realm, and the evergreens are in my human realm. So kind of nice how that balances out. I actually have a little ring that I purchased that from a craftsman in, I think it's Canada. It's a little pinky ring that I have. I don't have it on right now, but you might see it in videos from time to time. It's the Rowan tree. So there you go. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're inspired. I hope your spirit has been inspired today, and that you've filled your cup up a bit with some hope as you've been watching and learning with intuition, connection, and all the good positive vibes. Thanks for watching.